Stop overthinking it. The Boston Celtics are gonna win the NBA Finals this year. They've been the #1 team all season by far. Everyone in the NBA world loves to get cute and try to name other teams like the Cavs, the Clippers, the Suns to win it all, but the answer is obvious. This is a team that has the perfect mix of everything that a finals contender needs. They have elite offense and elite defense. They defend home court and have playoff experience. Stop overthinking it. Really quick before we get into this, I gotta say shout out to everyone that checked out my last video about the Dallas Mavericks, because that is now my most popular video. So let's keep it up. I'm gonna keep dropping the bangers. As you guys can tell, today's video is about the Boston Celtics, who are at the top of the Eastern Conference, and they've been there all year. They are 7.5 games above the second seed, which is the Cleveland Cavaliers. They pretty much have the 1 seed absolutely locked up. I don't really see any scenario where they lose this 1 seed. So obviously in the NBA world, you got, you know, the ESPNs of the world where they have all their shows. You got all the new channels on YouTube, including mine, where we got to make content. We got to ask questions. So, you know, there's videos about, can the Cavs win it all? Are they going to win it all? The Bucks, are the Bucks going to be the team to win it all? Maybe the Sixers when they had Embiid. You look at the Western Conference. I'm sure there's tons of videos about how the Timberwolves, the Thunder, the Nuggets, the Clippers, pretty much all 10 of these teams in the Western Conference can win it all. But is everybody overthinking it? And are the Boston Celtics just gonna win it all? And while I still have the standings up, something else to note and something else to look at is their home record. They are 26-3. I believe early this year they were, I think, 20-0 at home. And that matters a lot. You guys know how important, you know, just winning at home in the playoffs is. And I know it's the regular season, so things could change in the playoffs, but last year that's something the Celtics struggled with. They went to a lot of game 7s. The Heat gave them hell in the Eastern Conference Finals at home. Obviously the Celtics got a little bit of a different team than they did last year, but this matters a lot. 26-3 at home is something that I think nobody should just be kind of skipping over. Before we get into why this team is completely built to win the NBA Finals, let's talk about what they've been doing lately. So to start, they are 9-1 in their last 10 games, but that's not even what I really want to talk about. They're on fire right now. I don't even know if you could really say right now. You could pretty much just say they've been on fire all year. But something to note is their losses. So they take a loss to the Lakers, the Clippers, and the Nuggets in their little recent stretch of games pretty much here in the new year. You also have one to the Milwaukee Bucks and the Indiana Pacers, and of course the Oklahoma City Thunder. So those are all of their losses in 2024. Something I realized is all of their losses, and there aren't many of them. There's only 12 since, what is it, October? That's crazy. 12 losses in how many months? 5, almost 6 months is insane, first off, but all of their losses are pretty much to finals contenders. I know some of you are going to be like, oh, the Lakers aren't finals contenders. They kind of are. When you have LeBron James, AD on the same team, anything can happen. And then they lost to the Warriors up here in overtime, which, by the way, that was a crazy game, December 19th. The Warriors are also finals contenders. Like, they're not like the favorites, but like, you got Steph Curry, you got a decent team around them. You still got Draymond, you got Clay. Who knows what happens with Clay? They got a chance. They got a chance. They lose to the Pacers again. So the Pacers, I believe, are the only team to beat them twice, which is interesting because the Pacers also have been dominating the Milwaukee Bucks this year. So we're gonna have to see what matchup the Pacers get in the first round, because that series could be on upset watch. They also lost to the Orlando Magic, and then this is their only bad loss. They lost in overtime to the Hornets in a game where Tatum dropped 45 points. So that's their only bad loss. All of the other losses, all the 11 losses are to finals contenders. The Sixers early on and the Timberwolves early on. I remember everyone was calling the Timberwolves like giant killers or whatever, the giant killers. They were beating all the top teams. But yeah, all of their losses, and there's like 1 to each team, are finals contenders. And again, the Pacers are the only team, I believe, to beat them twice. By the way, the Celtics have the #1 offense in the entire NBA. That's not really shocking. You know, they're the #1 team when you look at wins and losses by far. But what's crazy about this team, to me at least, is their defense. Look at this roster. Jason Tatum, great defender. Jaylen Brown, elite defender. Porzingis, great rim protector. Derek White and Drew Holiday, great perimeter defenders. And one of the things that I like so much about the Celtics team and why I think they've been succeeding so much is their perimeter defense. When you have Derek White, who we know is a great defender, Drew Holiday, one of the best defenders on the perimeter of this generation, or well, we'll say for point guards, you know what I'm saying? And then Jaylen Brown, you got 3 guys that, you know, maybe Derek White's getting killed. I don't know if they put him on whoever the guards, maybe they're playing the Pacers and they put him on Halliburton. Maybe he's getting killed. Easy. You swap Drew Holiday onto him. If he starts getting killed, you put Jaylen Brown on him. If he starts getting killed, you're probably screwed. But you know what I'm saying? You got 3 options. You can mix and match. You can throw different things at the opposing offense all the time. That's what I like so much about this Celtics team. And I mean, when you have a team that's had the playoff success that the Celtics have had the last, 6 years, pretty much since Tatum's came into the league, then you add Drew Holiday and Porzingis onto this team. I mean, this is just scary. Now, what is interesting about this team, because their starting 5 is possibly the best starting 5 in the entire NBA, the bench. You got Sam Hauser, Peyton Pritchard, Al Horford, and Luke Cornett. That's pretty much the bench. The question is, can these bench players be good enough in the playoffs this year to get it done for the Boston Celtics? I'm gonna say yeah. Of course, they don't, wow you looking at these names, Sam Hauser, Peyton Pritchard. It's not like, holy shit, this team is so complete and I'm completely scared of them. I mean, yeah, teams are probably really scared of them, but you know what I'm saying? Their bench is nothing special, but Sam Hauser, Peyton Pritchard, and of course, Al Horford's going to be solid. You know what you're going to get with him. And I want to see, what are they shooting? So Hauser is shooting 45% from the field, 42% from 3. I know you guys can't see it, but 42% from 3. Pritchard, 43% from the field and 38% from 3. Also, Al Horford is shooting 41% from 3. So these guys have been really good in the minutes that they have had, and I expect possibly them to get a little bit less minutes in the playoffs with how good the top 5 players in this team, and even if you want to include Al Horford into that, the top 6 players in this team are, I think that their bench is going to be just fine in the playoffs. The Boston Celtics are the only team that I believe their star player can, be mid, can be not great, and they can still win in the playoffs. They have that type of offensive firepower. Jaylen Brown can step up and be that guy for a game. You also have Porzingis, who's been great this year, Derek White, Drew Holiday, Al Horford off the bench. This is a team that doesn't need everything to be just perfect. Whereas if you compare them to, say, the Warriors, who, by the way, are in a much different spot, if Steph Curry plays bad, the Warriors are not winning. Maybe they win at one random game. You know what I'm saying? That is another thing that the Boston Celtics have going for them. Tatum doesn't have to play perfect. You know what I'm saying? He could drop 14 points and the Celtics can still easily win a playoff game. Now, another question that I have for the Boston Celtics, we already talked about the bench, which is somewhat of a question mark. Do the Celtics have that clutch player? Do they have that it factor? Will Jason Tatum be clutch and hit clutch, timely shots in the postseason? Because to be honest, we haven't really seen that from him yet. All these other teams that are going to be in the playoffs, or most of them, have those guys. You got the Steph Currys, the Luka Doncic's, the LeBron James. They have guys that they know they can go to at the end of the game. And the Celtics, that guy is Jason Tatum. But my question is, will he get it done? Will this be the year where we see Jason Tatum clutch up? Because I remember there was a game, I went to it, game 6 of the 2022 NBA Finals between the Warriors and the Celtics. I was at that game. By the way, that was the first NBA game that I've been to in like 15 years, but I just couldn't miss out on the opportunity. But Jason Tatum in the second half of that game with the season on the line, I believe had no more than 4 points. That cannot happen. Low-key contradicting myself though, because I just said that Jason Tatum doesn't have to play perfect. While I think that's true for some games, Jason Tatum was pretty much ghost in the NBA Finals. That can't happen. You can disappear for, a game or maybe, 2. I wouldn't really prefer that, but it can happen and the Celtics can still win. What I'm saying is, this finally the year where we see Jason Tatum take over and clutch up, especially at the end of games? And the true answer to that is we're gonna have to wait and see. But my guess is yes, I would say Tatum hits some clutch shots, some big shots this postseason. The Boston Celtics are a team that everyone's pretty much just been waiting for them to finally get that ring, or maybe not everybody, but it kind of seems like it. When you look at their recent playoff history, they've been to the conference finals 5 times in the last 7 attempts. Pretty much since Jason Tatum got put onto this team, they have been crazy. Are they a lock to go back to the Eastern Conference Finals? Is it going to be 6 in their last 8 tries? To be honest, probably. And I'm a guy that if you've been watching this channel, playoff experience to me matters a lot. I don't love these young teams that come into the playoffs and everyone's high on, like for example, the OKC Thunder. I don't love it. They don't have much playoff experience. They have a lot of great wins in the regular season. Will that translate to the playoffs? I'm a guy that is not really in on that. But for the Celtics, for example, they have the playoff experience. Yeah, they don't have the rings. You know what I'm saying? They haven't got it done, but they've been there. They played in 5 conference finals. Not everyone on the team, but Tatum, Brown, you know what I'm saying, have been there before. And I do think that matters. Even if you lose in the finals, I think that that matters because now you know what to expect. You know, you don't have as much nervousness. You know, I think all of that plays a factor. And I probably should have pulled this up earlier, but something to look at is the advanced numbers when it comes to these teams. The Celtics, the #1 offensive rating in the entire NBA. I mentioned that earlier. They did pass the Pacers, who had it for pretty much the first 50 games of the season. I say the Celtics passed them like probably 7 games ago. #1 offense is crazy, but something we always say, you want to be top 10 in both offense and defense. So what are they defensively? They're 3rd. They were 2nd for like pretty much all year behind the Timberwolves. The Cavs just passed them, which, by the way, the Cavs are kind of scary again. I don't want to contradict myself, and like I said earlier, people try to get too cute and they're like, oh my God, can the Cavs win it? Can this team win it? But the Cavs are definitely going to be a team to watch, and it looks like they're probably going to be the 2 seed in the East. I like the Celtics over the Cavs, but could we get a Celtics-Cavs Eastern Conference Finals? Let me know. What is your Eastern Conference Finals prediction in the comments? But yeah, being 3rd defensively and 1st offensively is crazy. That pretty much never happens. And then if you look at complete net rating, they are 1st by far with 10.5. If you go all the way to like the 4th team, they already have like it cut in half, 5.4. That's just how much of a lead the Celtics have on the rest of the league when you look at their team as a whole. We're grinding on this channel. I'm gonna keep posting bangers for y'all. Sub up if you guys haven't. We're on 2K subs, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.